I'm Dr. Stacia Alexander with Goals Don't Have Feelings for my special edition series, Coronavirus Conversations. Tonight, we're going to talk about the emotionality of fitness. It's my workout gear, black and white all the way. But look what the shirt says, on my way to therapy, be right back. So working out is therapy for a lot of people, and I totally recognize that. So I appreciate you tuning in. We're going to give people a few minutes to get online, get situated, get a bowl of popcorn, whatever you need to do to help you get through this episode of dynamic information, mind you. So this is another installment of the special edition I'm doing for the coronavirus conversations. Tonight, we're going to talk about fitness. If you have not already, do me a favor, start a watch party. We've had great fun doing that. I'm able to bounce back and forth going between the watch parties. Do like the page, share the page, make comments, do what you can do to help me expand these conversations because so many people are enjoying them. I'm a licensed professional counselor. If this is your first time here, I've been in private practice for over 20 years, offering services to people in the Dallas and Fort Worth Metroplex. I also am an author. I've written 2 wonderful books, one with my family, my husband of 27 years, and our 2 adult children. It's called The Balancing Act. And we actually have a chapter in there that talks about the physicality of parenting. So actually getting together with your children and being physical, that's included in the book, and how it helps all of you to actually build and forge relationships with one another. So if you need a copy of the book, you haven't already bought it, go to my webpage at alexandersbalancingact.com. That's the family webpage, or you can go to Amazon, purchase the book, and we'll get it sent out to you. So these conversations that I've mentioned before are a part of a television, or not television. I do this all from Facebook. It's part of a Facebook project that I have called Goals Don't Have Feelings. And within that project, I'm able to talk to people from different walks of life about the emotionality of success. So it's been over a year and a half. I've met some wonderful people. I'm continuing the conversations. If you have not seen the episodes, please go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Stacia Alexander, and you can get that information. So hopefully people have logged on, they've gotten situated, and they're ready for our fitness expert, Miss Jessica Vaughn out of JC Fitness. Oh my gosh, she keeps people going. I have been watching her on Facebook. I have a couple of friends that go to her class. They have so much fun. She's energetic. She has a dynamic personality, and she has seen a lot in her lifetime, especially in terms of relationships, managing a business, being a female business owner. She does all of this all while pursuing another degree. Can you imagine that? That's a lot. So we're going to spend some time talking to her about the emotionality of this journey. So I appreciate you tuning in. You still have time to invite people. If you like, if you share, if you comment, it's going to come up on your timeline, and you can help me expand this conversation so that we can remove the stigma of mental health. So let's get to it. Thank you for joining us today for this episode of Goals Don't Have Feelings, focusing on the emotionality of fitness. Jessica, how are you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I am excited. I told the audience that I have on my workout gear, probably to go for a walk. I can't say that I have been as diligent as I need to be, but I like this shirt that I got from Missing a Bottle last year at Essence Festival. It says, on my way to therapy, be right back. Because
I like that.
They look at working out as therapy, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I appreciate you joining us for this, timely conversation, of course, which I've titled it Coronavirus Conversations. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll get started.
Okay, awesome. Again, my name is Jessica Vaughn. I am a native of the DFW area. I was reared in Ferris, Texas, but after graduating there, went off to college to Mississippi Valley State, transferred to A&M Commerce, graduated there with a degree in health promotion. I've done 2 internships with the TV show The Biggest Loser, season 10 and season 12. I have worked at Methodist Charleston Hospital, where I did cardiac and pulmonary rehab. So after someone would have a heart attack, I would be the first face they saw when they woke up, telling them they needed to work out with me to get their heart and lungs back strong.
Oh, wow.
And then when leaving there, in 2011. That's when I decided to start my own business, and I've been doing JC Fitness ever since.
Wow. So you're right. Like you understand what's going on with the lungs and the oxygen situation right now with this specific virus that we're facing as a country.
Absolutely.
Oh wow. Okay. So your background is even more dynamic than I realized. Like reading up on you, of course, I was drawn to the fitness aspect of it for this conversation. But you have a lot to offer. So when you're working people out, especially like someone like me, I have asthma. When I
Mhm.
tell you that I feel like fainting, you will fully understand. Oh
Absolutely.
yeah. Okay. That's good because I've had several trainers before. One, I did pass out on her. for
Oh,
And I am inclined to pass out. Like that's nothing. I'm inclined to pass out. But of course, that shocked her. And then another one, I had a younger guy. I told him, I said, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And he was just like, get your life together, which I love him. And I did a lot that I didn't know I was capable of doing. But I
uh-huh.
think you have a different perspective with your professional training that you have.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. I
good.
do feel like that's something that makes me slightly different from, I won't say a lot, but from some. It's
Mm-hmm.
just that my extensive background.
Okay. Okay. That's good to know. That is. I think people need to know that, especially those of us who are of the older generation. Let me just say that. But that's also a good place for us to start this evening because when I was thinking about being able to talk to you, I really wanted to hear your feedback on how you would work with someone that is from the beginner stage,
Mhm.
intermediate stage, or maybe even an advanced stage. So let's start with the beginner phase. How would you work with someone who was beginning? Like I would say, I've been beginning not because I haven't ever worked out before, but because I haven't worked out efficiently in over a year. So, what would you say
Okay.
to a person like me?
I think with beginners, especially, one of the most important things to do is for us to sit down and create a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
Once I take you through what I call an evaluation to kind of see where you are physically and to see like what your habits are, I always ask my clients, like, how many hours of sleep do you get? Because that's important. Um,
Yes.
I walk them through, or I have them walk me through, like, their typical daily schedule. I wake up at this time, I eat my first meal at this time, blah, 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 blah,
Mm-hmm.
blah. And once I see how their life goes regularly, instead of me just jumping in and trying to change their entire world at once, I like to say that I try to give them a realistic plan. And then as they grow and start to have small successes, then I'll expand it and kind of stretch them a little bit to challenge themselves a little more.
You know, I can appreciate that because I talk to people about the importance of sleep so much.
Oh,
Like,
yes,
yeah, I don't think people fully understand how much a lack of sleep impacts your performance the next day.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then that nutrition thing would be important too, because that'll shock your system too, changing your nutrition as drastically as some people do.
Right, absolutely. And in my tenure of doing this, I've been training now for almost 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when, let's say you just have a regular, the average American diet,
Mm-hmm.
you may or may not eat breakfast. You eat lunch somewhere between the hours of 11 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then dinner is whatever you find. If you're business, if you're busy, then
Mm-hmm.
it could be something on the go or fast food or takeout, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like to know, like, how does your life run? And
Okay.
then, so, okay, you say you don't have time in the morning. So in the morning, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, okay, you eat between 11 and 3. Let's kind of shrink that window and let's try to get that meal in. So I like to make those small adjustments, because if you make it too drastic, then people are more likely to not stick to it. And then they'll just feel like, okay, I'm on this roller coaster of trying to be successful with my health and wellness, and I keep failing because it's too much of a change to try to balance that with the rest of my life as well.
Okay. And so for somebody, okay, so we're talking about the beginning stage, and
Mm-hmm.
let's also address what would you advise someone at the beginner stage to do during this stay in place order. We're in the middle of coronavirus and COVID-19, whatever terminology you want to use. What
Right.
would you say to a beginner, because the gyms are closed, which is great for me. I'm not going to even lie.
Mm-hmm.
The gyms are closed and everything. What would you say for a beginner?
So for my beginners during this time, one thing that I would suggest, I do a lot of virtual classes. Um, and the beauty that I see in that for a beginner is you're in your own space, you're at home. If you can do whatever you want to do, like you pick your own, if it's a toning class, if you have 3-pound dumbbells, rock those 3-pound dumbbells, do whatever it is that you can do in the capacity and the privacy of your own home. You don't have to have your camera on to where other people can see you. You can just have it set
Oh, okay.
um, to where you can see me, and so
Okay.
there's not that intimidation factor.
And that makes a difference. Yeah, whatever. Let's go to the interview. Make this whole interview about me. So, I can be pretty goofy. I mean, I put a video up the other day. Well, I completely fell out of this chair. So I'm sure some people that saw that video are a little worried about me moving in the chair. But what would you say to an intermediate person about this virtual working out and staying as active and keeping the momentum and the motivation that they had before? What would you say to them?
So I would honestly say majority of the people or the client base that I have right now, I would put in that intermediate category.
Okay.
Um, and by intermediate, I would classify those people as people who at least work out 2 to 3 times a day. I mean, a day. Oh, boy.
That's intermediate. I really am. I'm pre-beginner.
2 to 3 times a week for at least
Okay.
30 minutes or more each one of those times. I would classify that as 30 minutes. 30 minutes 3 times a week is the minimum amount recommended.
Okay.
And so for that intermediate category, with the stay-at-home order, people are not able to, go and walk for 60 minutes on a treadmill or what have you. I see people walking outside. I still run outside currently. Every day I, go for a short run or what have you. Do I recommend for people to do that? It kind of depends on where they are.
Good. Yeah.
And so with that, just being creative around the house. I love all of these TikTok videos that people are doing, because believe it or not, it's making people get up and be active. And so for me, whatever activity you can do, because I know with those videos, people probably practiced, 10 or however many times before they actually recorded it and put it on social media. Right. So doing any type of cardio, playing music while you're cleaning up and disinfecting the house. Again, there's so many trainers who are doing, free online, whatever. And I will literally myself just go on Facebook, see who's going live doing a workout, and I might do a few minutes of this, that, or the other. But really just trying to make sure that for the beginner and the intermediate, that we're incorporating something that's going to elevate your heart rate, as well as some type of weight training, even if it's with small weights. And I can tell that globally, or nationally, I guess I should say, people are doing a lot of that, because even on Amazon, like small hand weights and things like that they're out of sale. Walmart, everywhere, they're out of sale. So that makes me happy.
Yeah. Well, what about advanced people? What should the advanced people do? Like, my husband works out. He's that person that probably works out 4 days a week, about an hour and a half. So what would you advise that category of people during this pandemic shutdown?
So for people that typically work out more consistently, just you have to be even more so creative to get your body to perform or execute workouts at the same level that you are used to in a gym or
Okay.
whatever style of working out that you would be doing. And so my suggestion for like the advanced person would be to incorporate a lot of plyometrics. So, going into the garage and, finding something that you can do step ups on, or,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you have bricks or a porch or whatever, doing step ups on that with using weights, incorporating cardio and weights at the same time,
Okay.
to make sure that you are working multiple muscle groups as well as burning more calories because you're working those multiple muscle groups. And
Gotcha.
typically, if a person considers themselves as advanced, then they
Mm-hmm.
have heavier weights at home
Mm-hmm.
to challenge themselves. And I would definitely recommend, because you don't have access to all the equipment you would have access to at the
Mm-hmm.
gym,
Mm-hmm.
then increasing the amount of days a week that you work out to about 6 days a week, honestly, at this point.
Okay. Okay. I'm very understanding. He's had that same routine, but I know that like other families who may not have that normal outlet to leave the house and
Right.
go out, I think that takes like it took us a while for me to adjust to his level of working out and for him
Mhm.
to adjust to my level of
Right.
work.
Absolutely.
People don't understand that that could be a source of contention in a household, but
Absolutely.
so you've been able to maintain your fitness business for how many years now?
I've been in business with JC Fitness since 2011. So
Okay.
that's 9 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that because the show always highlights the emotionality of success because we're talking about what it takes to set your goals, make a plan, and then sustaining a business that people often underestimate how
Mhm.
much of an impact it has on a business owner. And now everybody gets it now, but what about you? What has your journey been like in terms of being a business owner and maintaining your own motivation?
So just being a business owner in general, I think requires a person to have a lot of self-discipline, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to be self-motivated. Like no one is above you to say this is what you need to get done every day. So just being self-motivated, being organized, being goal-oriented, being a
Okay.
visionary, and specifically in the fitness arena, fitness goes in waves. The
Okay.
beginning of the year, new me, everybody's excited.
Okay.
Everybody stays kind of excited for about 3 months. The
Mm-hmm.
weather warms up. Everybody wants to go to the patio, have margaritas and Mexican food, and then they start to die down after spring break. And then Mother's Day, I don't know what it is. Well, majority of the people that work out are women.
Okay.
Mother's Day comes around and it shoots back up. School is out. It maintains steady. Once school starts back, it's down for the rest of the year. And so I've had to be very creative over these past 9 years with JC Fitness, making sure that I try to stay relevant and making sure that I produce or I offer services, one based on where I'm located, in the Metroplex, and where people are.
And
Um,
what does that do for you emotionally? Like having to basically, I mean, like that's the conversation is
right,
emotionally. How does that impact you having basically to reinvent yourself quarterly is what you're saying.
absolutely.
Yeah. So how does that impact you emotionally?
Um, I believe in self-care.
Okay.
So emotionally, it started off very challenging. At this
Okay.
point, I think maybe about um in 2017, actually, I remember that vividly. April of 2017 is when I was finally like, okay, I think I got this. I know what to expect now. I
Mhm.
know kind of the strategy that I need to have. So when I created my 3 to 5 year financials and what that looked like. I knew how to map, those numbers out so that it wouldn't be like, oh my goodness, I made this amount of money, for these 3 months and now it's dropped down to this. Like, what do I do? How do I? Right. So, I think just with the consistency of not giving up, even though, I may have hit bumps in the road, not giving up, always looking back over the past 2 to 3 months and evaluating and seeing how I can learn from that and growing with my business. I think that helps to maintain my emotional sanity through the ups and downs of business.
So so you could plan for disappointment, if you will, but not get stuck in the disappointment.
Absolutely.
Then having enough determination to overcome that hump that caused the disappointment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I do think that's what gets a lot of business owners is that once you get in that traction and you get the momentum, let's say you get a big contract or you get a lot of people that are registering for your class, and then that slump hits, it's that slump that gets they forget the excitement and the motivation and the creativity that actually propelled them to start in the first place. So thank you. Because, not a lot of us have the opportunity to talk to our fitness trainers about what we're dealing with emotionally when we don't sign up for those classes.
Right.
Coronavirus, a lot of business owners are being upfront with people. They're saying, hey, please don't stop coming to my restaurant. Please don't stop using my service because I have a family too. So it's almost like a community embracing one another to make sure that the community stays afloat. So we can post
and stuff for free during this.
Okay.
And the reason being, the name of my business is JC Fitness, and that actually stands for Jesus Christ.
I was wondering about that. Okay.
And so I use JC Fitness as a ministry. Every time, after every class, after every personal training client, I pray with them. I take prayer requests. When I had my brick and mortar location, we did a Bible study once a week. And so when this happened, although, I was making a pretty consistent income with it, I understand that there are so many other traumatic things happening. And the last thing that I want people to be worried about having to pay for is something that technically is a luxury, although it is a necessity for us to take care of our bodies. And I knew that people would be kind of going into the unknown with this. And I wanted to be a stress relief for people.
Okay. So I like to do a play on words where I just kind of engage people in a conversation, if you will. Okay. So I'm going to put them up on the screen.
Okay.
And put them up. I'll say them or you can say them. And then just kind of talk us through this in terms of being a business owner, your response to it, or maybe even talking about that beginner out there.
Okay.
About exercising. So here's the first slide. Self-doubt. As a business owner, how often do you experience self-doubt and how do you overcome it?
I think for me personally, as a business owner, I experience self-doubt. I'm not going to say consistently, but it does happen, especially if, there's a new idea that pops up, or if I see something else in it and I think, I could do that, but I would do it this way, And so those things, that self-doubt does happen, but how I overcome it is I'm really big on just energy and affirmations and, and everything. So I have a routine that I go through every morning. I have a routine that I go through every night where I kind of just get into my own mind. And I remind myself, like, Jessica, you can do this. You are this. You don't have to operate in fear. If you have fear, that's not of God, that's of the enemy, and all these other kind of things. And so it's really just combating those doubts with truth.
Okay, so watch this next word. Watch this. And for the affirmations you're already using.
Okay.
Fearful. Fearful. And you've already answered that's what you use your mantra for in the morning. You can do this, encouraging yourself. But a lot of people don't do that.
That's true. A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I share with people all the time, especially with fear, we all know that fear is not of God, but I like to remind people that when we operate in fear, we're depriving God from doing what He wants to do. Like,
Yeah.
we're hindering Him
Yeah.
from showing us that He can do above and beyond what that vision is.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening. No, you're fine. Go ahead. I'm just you. I love that.
And so the scary part of that is like just letting go, because a lot of us, especially as business owners, we're so hands-on. And so to have this vision, or to have this, idea with business, and to be like, okay, God, you gave this to me. There you go.
So watch this next word. Watch this next word. The last one. Anxious.
Okay.
Anxious. And that's what you were just commenting on, right?
Right. So if I'm being too spiritual, I don't apologize. This is just me.
Yeah, you don't have to. We're good. We're good.
So, the Bible tells us to be anxious for nothing.
Right.
And so anxiety, just good anxiety, bad anxiety, all of it's natural. It happens.
Yeah.
Especially as a business owner. How am I going to make sure that I produce enough to bring in enough revenue to not only take care of my responsibilities, but to also live the lifestyle that I want to live, as women, with, getting our nails done, or, our self-care, taking care of kids, whatever the case may be. Anxiety and all of that comes, and all of these words actually tie in together, like you were saying. And the best way I can think to deal with that, or that I deal with that, I just have a really strong prayer life. And I have to have an outlet. And for me, exercise is an outlet. Exercise releases endorphins. Whenever you put your body under stress, the good stress of exercising, it minimizes the stress of other aspects of your life. And so
look at us. We both use the same word. And so this is why I like having these conversations, to be honest with you, is because anxiety is real. And it is a real occurrence in our body. And a lot of us are faithful in that we'll call on scripture. That is the spiritual side of us. The humanity of us is that our body is still going to respond to anxiety. So in our spirit, we're saying, calm down. Do not be anxious for anything. Rely on God. Be faithful. Mark 9:24 is my scripture. Lord, help my unbelief when I get anxious about things. On the other side of that I look at it from the psychology side of it is, okay, so now let's deal with the source of that anxiety.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And so all of that works together. Then you go over to the physical side. Let's get that energy out of you, because you can be faithful and you're going to pray about it. We can talk about the psychology of it. And then the physicality of it is that energy still has to come out of your body. So get up and go walk, and get up and go run, and get up and go lift weights, get up and go jump, get up and go dance, right?
Absolutely.
Do exactly. So this has been a great conversation. I know people are going to want to follow you and do your classes. I will definitely tune in, and I may say hi first and then put on the picture for the video. But can you tell the audience where to find you, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So I can be followed on Instagram, JC Fitness TX, the number 2, on Facebook, JC Fitness TX, Twitter, YouTube, everything else is JC Fitness TX. If you have any questions, need advice, need a workout plan, a meal plan, whatever the case may be in that arena, you can email me at trainwith Jessie, JESSIEMAE, JessieMay@gmail.com.
Excellent. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate this, talking about the emotionality of fitness during a crisis. It's not simple. We have to talk about it.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll make sure to get everybody over to your social media site, over to your classes, get them signed up. And hey, what events do you have coming up after all of this is over that people can keep a lookout for?
So I just actually did an interview that can be found on YouTube. I just did an interview. I have I'm part of a teen summit that's coming up in August. In Denver, Colorado. I'll be out there with a group of about 50 teenagers in some cabins for a week. My portion in that is dealing with them just with self-confidence, the way they see themselves, as young ladies, teenagers go through that kind of not so sure about themselves. And so I'll be doing that and working out with them for a full week from August 1st to August 8th. With this pandemic, a lot of my engagements have been postponed. So hopefully I'll have some rescheduling dates coming up, and all of that will be able to be found on any of my sites as well a little later on.
That's great. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So you'll see me coming up. You'll see me in a couple of your sessions. I'm sure my family would appreciate that, because I'm driving crazy around here in this house.
Well, I look forward to seeing your name pop up on the screen.
Exactly. You have a good evening. Thank you.
You too.
Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed that discussion with Jessica. It was good. It was informative. The way we were able to tie in the fitness part of it, spirituality with the psychology part of it in fitness, and then being active in your fitness, that right there alone was enough of the interview that I wouldn't have had to go any further, because I spent a good deal of time in therapy talking to people about understanding the connection between those. So make sure you follow Jessica on her social media sites. And after you do that, follow me on my social media sites. I have a wonderful YouTube channel where all of these episodes are loaded up. So even if you have friends and family that aren't necessarily on Facebook or Instagram, they can go to the YouTube channel, and then you can follow me on the other sites, LinkedIn, SoundCloud for people who are podcast people, Facebook Live, Instagram. These episodes are airing everywhere, and I would appreciate it greatly when you like, share, comment, start a watch party, because that expands the information that I am trying to share with the populace about removing the stigma of mental health, and how if we have these conversations more and more, we'll be more inclined to get that help. So this has been great. Another episode of Coronavirus Conversations, special segment for Goals Don't Have Feelings with Dr. Stacia Alexander. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.